Hi, this is Tom. I'm at home in Holly Springs, North Carolina. I spent the week in Chicago, Illinois, and I have to say, since I started this diet back in January, this past week has probably been my worst week. On Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and last night on Friday, when I went to bed at night, I said I ate too much at dinner all 5 of those nights. When I got up from the table, I just felt stuffed. I've been emphasizing it's not what you eat, but how much you eat, and I definitely ate too much this week. So let's go upstairs and see what I weigh, and then I just want to summarize what I've talked about the last 2 weeks as far as nutrition, and then next week we will start a new topic. Alexa, what day is it?
It's Saturday, July 28th.
This week I weighed 172.7. So what I feared has come true. I weigh more than I did last week. I'm further from my goal than I've been since I've started. And for the first time I've dropped below averaging 1 pound per week. Now I'm at 0.9. So what does this tell me? This tells me that what I believe is true. That it's not what I eat, but how much I eat. When I overeat 5 of the 7 days, I am not going to lose weight. I will gain weight. It's just as simple as this. This is what I've been saying since back here in January. It's how much you eat, and here is proof. So obstacles I could have done better. I ate too much on 5 nights last week. Plus, it doesn't help, but yesterday my wife and I had a larger lunch later in the day than usual, which means we weren't really hungry until later on last night. We had a Domino's 14-inch pizza. We split it in half. I also had 3 beers along with that, and I ate that whole thing later than I normally do. That is still in my system. I've talked before about being consistent when you measure yourself. I've mentioned I weigh myself about the same time, only on Saturday mornings, only after I get up, before I eat breakfast, so on and so forth. But what I probably haven't emphasized is that it takes maybe a day or so to metabolize food. And so when I ate later last night than I usually do, and I ate a little more than I usually do on a Friday night, it's going to affect my weight on Saturday morning. So everything is just a perfect storm for having results like this. It's a good takeaway. This is something I've already known. Hopefully it emphasizes to you that it's true, that you cannot eat too much and expect to lose weight. And it also, I think, shows it's nice to have this spreadsheet where you just record everything every week and you do a little summary of what you did right and what you did wrong. And it will show you the way to lose weight if you pay attention to what these results are and what you did during the week. So let's summarize what I thought about nutrition. So for both breakfast and dinner examples, I only calculated a rough calorie amount per serving. I completely ignored carbs, fat, and protein. I completely ignored vitamins, minerals, and any other indicators of nutrition. And I solely based its nutritional value on they were real foods of multiple colors. Good nutrition should be easy. Let's not make it harder than it has to be. Think about this. If all you do is look at the color of your food that you eat and that food is real, you can simplify your life so much by just ignoring all this other stuff. And I want to emphasize that when Weight Watchers first came out with their point system, they said vegetables and fruit are 0 points. You can eat as much as you want. And when you look at my calories that I did for the vegetables and the calories that I did for my fruit salad, I think you can see that Weight Watchers is correct. Fruit and vegetables have very little calories. You can eat a lot of it and get full, have fiber and all sorts of good stuff going on. So yeah, eat your fruit, eat your vegetables. Don't care if it's carbs or whatever. And from a practical standpoint, just about every morning that I'm home, I do eat a breakfast similar to the one I demonstrated 2 weeks ago. A large cereal bowl full of fruit. I practice what I preach. That is what I eat. And then my dinners are not all like the ones that I showed you, but they are similar in that vegetable heavy, but some meat. And I throw in something that maybe is not so great for nutritional value, but I throw in something because I like the way it tastes. I do not want to stop eating things that I like to eat. So even though those tater tots probably were not the world's most nutritional thing, I like the way they taste. I like the texture. I just limit myself with how much I eat. I do not deprive myself of things I like. And if you watch both videos from the last 2 weeks, you'll notice that I use very little pots and pans and dishes and utensils. I use the same ones over and over again. I hate kitchen cleanup. And that's another thing. If I made my dinners and breakfasts and lunch very complicated, I might get tired of doing it. So I like to get it done, clean it up, and be done with it. I don't like to overcook things. If I get on the web and say, give me a recipe for XYZ, and that recipe has way too many ingredients and takes too long and requires special handling and care, I just don't do it. I just keep things simple. I showed you my fish in the sous vide cooking. This thing is the best thing as far as I'm concerned. It's virtually impossible to overcook. I'm not the world's best cook. I tend to put something on the grill or put something in the stove or whatever and walk away, and sometimes I forget about it. If I forget about it in sous vide, no big deal. It cannot overcook. It's just built into the system. And because everything is cooking in a vacuum sealed bag, the meats and the fish just retain their moisture like all get out. They are just the best. And then as far as my easy cleanup, I take the meat or the fish out of the bag, I throw the bag in the trash, and that's it. I reuse that water all the time because it does not get dirty for sous vide cooking. And I also do like cooking on the grill because it's less cleanup and I love the taste. So that pretty much summarizes what I eat, how I figure out what is good for nutrition. And I want to emphasize, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionalist. I could be totally wrong on everything that I showed you here on this page in the last 2 weeks, but it works for me. Find something that works for you and don't take too much as gospel, because once again, I just want to emphasize, just because you think something is good for you, more than likely you can go on the web and find a study saying, no, it's not. So choose carefully, stick with it, tell your mind that it is good for you, and it probably will be. So until next week, goodbye.